I would like to thank Coca 2005 for sending me this story that is coming out of Chicago. In this picture, you see a woman with her two children. Her name is Stephanie Burrs, and it says that her daughter Samari is on the left and her son TJ Jackson Jr. is on the right. So this woman had a birthday party for her son right there on the right. And right in the middle of the birthday party, Chicago cops came in and raided their home with guns drawn. Mind you, this is a kid's birthday party. So there are a lot of adults there with children. And they came and they raided her home. Guns drawn at a birthday party. Just one major issue. They raided the wrong damn house. This is the recklessness of the Chicago police that many people talk about a lot. Now, the last time some police raided a house, and I believe it involved a 4 or a 5-year-old by the name of Ayanna Stanley Jones, she ended up with a bullet in her head, and she is now deceased while sleeping on her grandmother's couch when they came in guns drawn and just shot wildly into the house. And I think they were looking for her dad. Luckily, none of the kids were hurt or injured or worse. Now, Rahm Emanuel, you have all this venom and all this fire in you to go after Jussie Smollett at this current moment in time. You're so mad at what he's done and how it's costing you money. Why aren't you outraged about this? After all, aren't these cops on your payroll? But he's not going to say anything about that. He's too worried about getting Jussie Smollett. I bet he won't even say anything towards this family. Like, kids can't even enjoy having a birthday party nowadays without something like this happening. Luckily, none of them are hurt. Thank God that all of them are fine. But can you imagine how traumatic that has to be for everybody who was there, especially them kids? It is also stuff like this, which is why a lot of black youth do not trust the police nowadays as it is. These kids are going to be scarred for life because of this. Something that should be a fun occasion. For a child moving on to another year in life got ruined. I'm even reading a slight description in the article where it says the boy's cake got smashed. Like, they came in and destroyed the boy's cake before they could even put the candles on it. And I bet you they were probably looking for somebody and they went into the wrong house and have no disregard. And the fact that they raided the house means that there was probably other damages done to the house. Because usually when you do a raid, you usually kick the door in. Are they going to pay for that door if they had to kick it in? Are they going to pay for any other damages that were done? Probably not, but they should. Stuff like that should warrant them having something taken out of their check and given to the people affected, namely this woman and her family. It says the family of a 4-year-old is claiming in a lawsuit that Chicago police crashed the boy's birthday parties with guns drawn, pouring peroxide on his presence and leaving his birthday cake smashed. They poured peroxide on this boy's gifts that people spent their hard-earned money for to get him to celebrate his day. And I bet you they're not going to pay for it. The mother, Stephanie Burrs, and other plaintiffs in the suit alleged the officers had the wrong house on February 10th. The suspect they were looking for had not been a resident of the address for almost 5 years. That's just sloppy on their part. See, this is exactly why A lot of people do not trust the Chicago PD. I keep telling people the Chicago PD is one of the most corrupt police departments in the establishment, and this right here keeps proving my point. Chicago police told NBC News that they do not comment on pending litigation. They're probably trying to cook up a story. Well, first off, if the person hadn't been living there for 5 years, how in the world, what would make you think to come there, to go to that location, to look for said person? Burrs and her family were celebrating the birthday of her son TJ in their basement apartment on the city's south side when 17 officers raided their home. The officers entered the home with their guns pointed toward TJ and his 7-year-old sister Samari, as well as other relatives, the complaint alleges. The children were afraid that they and their families were going to be shot. Police poured peroxide on his presence, trashed the apartment, screamed profanity and insults, and left the boy's birthday cake smashed, according to a news release from the family's attorney. The release also said officers unlawfully questioned the 2 children without their parents present and joked and laughed throughout the raid. Why are grown adults with guns drawn questioning 2 minor children without their parents there? Why are they questioning them at all? See, they do not have any regard for us no matter what, no matter the age, no matter the gender, whatever. It's bad enough that they raided the wrong house and literally single-handedly destroyed this little kid's day, but they had to double down and interrogate them like they were criminals at his own party and laugh about the raid happening as if it was a joke. And Mayor Rahm Emanuel, you think Jussie Smollett is your biggest issue right now? No, your police departments are the biggest issue. Namely, this one right here that we're talking about. The lawsuit alleges that the police behavior during the raid violated the constitutional rights of the children and their family and traumatized TJ and his sister. The officers' actions were not the product of an avoidable mistake that was the result of sloppy police work, but they displayed force that was excessive, unnecessary, unreasonable, and without lawful justification. The family's attorney said his law firm did an online search of the police intended target and were able to quickly determine the man's current address. Well, if they would have did that before, this could have been avoided, but like they said, they did sloppy work. Just like the mishandling of the case with Jussie Smollett. Sloppy. That's why he was able to get off or, get the charges against him dropped. But people want to go after him personally instead of going after the departments. And I bet you in this case, they'll find a way to say, well, it's the parents' fault. It's the kids' fault, because they will never hold police departments accountable whatsoever. It could finally be released and come out that these police departments are the ones behind all of these so-called massive shootings that happen in Chicago every holiday weekend. And they still won't believe it. They'll still say black on black crime, 13% of the population, 50% of the crime, and all that shit. It never fails. It says Hofield also said the raid was not an isolated incident and that the Burrs family's lawsuit is the 4th of a series of excessive force cases against the city of Chicago, alleging Chicago police are holding guns on children and terrorizing families on the south and west sides. It says 4th. That means that is the 4th reported time that they've done this. And that's just reported. It makes you wonder which ones have not gone reported, or the ones that they kind of shun. And they said where they do these raids, where they have incidents where the children are involved on the south and west side. And I've listened to enough of Harvey's videos. Those are the black areas of Chicago. Coincidence? I think absolutely hell no. I feel for this family. They like, and not just this family, but everyone who was there. All because they were looking for a person that no longer lived there for 5 years, but they couldn't go into a database to actually find this person before doing it. And actually, they went there because they wanted to inflict a terrorist type scare on these people. I wouldn't be surprised if this was a gentrification tactic for them to leave. Because we know they would not raid and kick in the house of a white family engaging with their loved ones with a birthday party, unless they had an absolute justified reason to do so. This is not justifiable, and I hope they sue the hell out of those that department. And Rahm Emanuel, these are your officers. You have to do something, but we know you ain't gonna do nothing. You didn't do anything with when the whole Laquan McDonald thing, so we know you ain't gonna do nothing with this. All I can say is that I'm just glad that nobody was injured or severely hurt. And that goes for the kids and the parents that were there. Y'all let me know what you think about this down in the comments. I'll talk to you in the next one.